Hello, hello. It's Alicia from Quick and Delish. I'm here to talk to you about some spices. You have to add spice to your foods and add spice to your life. I have too many spices to share, but I wanted to give you a couple must-haves. Okay, so I always use or always have in the kitchen dried oregano, dried thyme. I usually buy some spices in large bags like this. This is from this company called the San Francisco Herb Company. And I'll go there like once a year and pick up like a lot of peppercorns. So some spices I buy in larger amounts, and then some I buy in smaller amounts. And, you know, buying spices from different stores depending on where I am, and every store has different types of spices, and sometimes you just want to buy a small amount. So I highly recommend the starter strategy for purchasing spices is a lot of smaller local grocery stores will have these like a whole wall with hanging spices, and so these are oftentimes like 99 cents. And you don't get a ton of spices where like you don't really want this much of a spice that you're not sure about. You want this amount of a spice that you use a lot of. This is dried thyme. And so this company is called Paradise. This is from a local grocery store. They have a lot of chilies. This caraway seeds could be great to add to sauerkraut or some sort of cabbage dish. And then I have a bunch of different chilies. So chile negro, chile ancho, chipotle. I did get cayenne, and this is going to take me forever to use this up because I'm a little sensitive to heat. But sometimes, you know, you just need a pinch of cayenne, and I could probably use this. If every day I used a pinch of cayenne, then I could probably get through this package. Oh, this is another brand. I might be pronouncing this incorrectly, so excuse me. Sadaf is is from a local grocery store. It's an Armenian grocery store in my neighborhood. So they have this brand of spices, and so it's a really good company. So this brand also has like sumac. Sumac is super lemony and bright, often used in Persian cooking. It's delicious. I think this was somewhere around $3, which is a really good price for sumac. In Persian cooking, they just keep a shaker on their table, like, you know, some people keep a shaker of salt on their table. Let's see. Oh, pepitas or pumpkin seeds. So sometimes you just want a little bit of pumpkin seeds to add to like a salad or something, or you don't really know if you like pumpkin seeds. So you get a small amount of this, and they're 99 cents. So some of the problems, challenges with spices that sometimes they're really expensive. Like if you buy a jar from like Whole Foods or something like that, they might be really expensive. But it's better to buy in these packages. So this curry powder, this is a decent amount of curry powder. And this is a mild form. And I'd rather buy a spice blend that's mild and then add heat to it than get something that's medium, because oftentimes I find, because I'm sensitive to heat, that a medium would be a little closer to very hot. And so I'd rather add a little bit more chili if I need to, because I've actually purchased a hot and a mild and had to that's how I made like a medium curry specifically. And so that took me forever to use up. And then this is the Paradise company, and this is 99 cents for this much curry powder. So that's totally affordable. What else? So cumin I buy in large amounts, and then when I'm at Trader Joe's, because I use cumin a lot. When I'm at Trader Joe's, these are the spices that I recommend purchasing from Trader Joe's. So cumin is usually at Trader Joe's. This chili lime seasoning is delicious, especially on cucumber or jicama. When you're at Trader Joe's, these are the spices I'm recommending specifically from Trader Joe's. They have this powder mushroom seasoning. to add umami. Mushrooms and tomato add that umami sort of meaty taste. Dried basil. I avoided using dried basil for decades, and recently, because Trader Joe's sells it, I was like, I'll give it a shot. And it doesn't taste like fresh basil. It just tastes herbaceous, and it does contribute to adding flavor. And so I actually treat it more like it's parsley than basil in the dried form. Red chili flake or pepper flake, Trader Joe's. Pumpkin pie spice. When pumpkin pie spice is available, I'll get like 4 or 5 bottles, so I have enough for the year. And pumpkin pie spice is always fun. Oh, try sauteing Brussels sprouts, like thinly sliced Brussels sprouts, and then saute the Brussels sprouts with pumpkin pie spice. You're going to be really surprised. You're going to be like, that's good. Unless you don't like pumpkin pie spice. But you might like it in this very specific situation because it's not something sweet. And so I recommend buying cinnamon from Trader Joe's. I'll also buy cinnamon in a larger container from Whole Foods, this 365 brand. And this is oregano. And then other spices that I have, paprika. Paprika comes in smoked or sweet, and then sometimes you just get like generic paprika, and so it's neither smoked nor sweet. Paprika is commonly known on your deviled eggs. I think it's considered an essential ingredient, but what we think is essential in one recipe may not be essential for another person. You know what I mean? Okay, so coriander seed that's ground is really helpful in Indian cooking, Mexican cooking, South American cooking. Ground cardamom. Sometimes I put a little bit of ground cardamom in my coffee or oatmeal or make a chai tea. Dried ginger can be fun. So if I don't have fresh ginger, I might use dried ginger as a substitute. It's always good to have some ginger. Vanilla bean is always good for flavor enhancement. It's not just for baking. You could add a little bit of vanilla to your smoothie or yogurt to make a dessert. I already mentioned the dried oregano. And then some other things I wanted to show you. Keep an eye out for different types of dried mushroom powder. So this is a fantastic way to add more mushroom flavor to your meals. I have a recipe for a chicken ramen soup. And so if I can't find fresh shiitakes, or other fresh mushrooms that I want to add to the soup for flavor, then I'll use some dried mushroom powder, and it's equally as delicious. And actually, I kind of think that this would be a better substitute than fresh mushrooms, because when you cook chop up fresh mushrooms and add them to a soup, they disappear, or you get these small spongy textured things in the soup, and so that may not be pleasant to everybody. So if you want to make a very flavorful mushroomy kind of broth, and it doesn't have to be like very super strongly flavored mushroom, it just adds like a background of that umami flavor. And I really like this brand of dry shiitake mushroom powder. Specifically, not all dried mushroom powder tastes delicious. It's kind of like olives, so you just have to taste the package and find the one that you like. Sometimes so you just got to try it and see how you like it. Let's see, what else do I use for flavor enhancements? I'm going to finish with the spices first. So I have some examples here. I use turmeric a lot, curry powder. Oh, Chinese 5-spice. You already know I love roasting sweet potatoes with Chinese 5-spice. Make some sort of like Chinese 5-spice chicken or fish, scallops, shrimp, pork, fennel seeds, fun. Sometimes I'll actually just eat a few, suck on, chew on a couple fennel seeds, and I'll do the same with cardamom pod. So this is a green cardamom pod, and inside the cardamom pod there's like 12 of these tiny little delicious little seeds. They're kind of sticky. Anyway, they're these black seeds that kind of look like large poppy seeds, basically. They're packed with flavor. Cardamom is such a flavorful spice. So I'll like suck on, if I want something to distract myself instead of chewing gum or something, I'll just suck on a cardamom pod, and then the flavor, the seeds come out, and then, I don't know, it's just a way to kind of be distracted a little bit instead of like sucking on candy or chewing gum or anything. A no calorie way to kind of have fun. Okay, so curry powder, this is one of the types of jars that I store spices in. And this is an example of my labeling, ancho chili. So I recommend, if you get these packages, then you use scissors to cut them open, and then pour the contents into a jar like this one. This is just one of the Trader Joe's jars that the label has been removed. And you could buy these kinds of jars, the circular ones or rectangular ones, on Amazon, or your favorite storage container company like the Container Store or something like that. And you can get a funnel so that it's easier and less messy to put the spices in the jar, or use a piece of parchment paper to use as a funnel to get the spices in the jar. So then using some sort of labeling, so this is some tape that it's not super sticky. So unfortunately, masking tape is extremely sticky, and that's one of the benefits of using masking tape, that it sticks for a while. And so if you use masking tape, then you're gonna leave some sort of adhesive stickiness on the jar. And so I recommend finding a tape that's actually easy to remove, easy to write on, so that the adhesive situation is kind of annoying. Other places to get spices, Cost Plus World Market sells smaller packages of spices, which I really like. And these specifically are resealable. So there's a little Ziploc resealable package instead of these ones that are not resealable. And so you want to put these in a container so that they remain dry. And yeah. So I like the Cost Plus World Market if you have a location near you, or probably you could purchase spices online if you're buying something else. And so they're smaller packages, so you don't get stressed out with buying too much. And they're resealable. A couple other random notes. Oh, you could buy stickers. So these stickers labels for spices, like dried dill. So these don't work for me because they're not large print, but they could they could be useful for somebody else. And if you want these, you should let me know, because you could have these. Because they're not going to be helpful for me. Okay, so other ways to enhance flavor in your foods. I love Dijon mustard, and this 365 brand of Dijon mustard is delicious. This is my favorite. Super strong. I like strongly flavored foods. And then to add a little bit of tomato, I prefer buying tomato in tomato puree or crushed tomato to add. I use that when I make tomato sauce. But when I want to add a little bit of tomato to something, but I don't want it to taste like tomato, to add a little bit of puree so it disappears in the soup or whatever. And then this is my favorite jarred salsa, Salsa Authentica by Trader Joe's. And the reason why I like it is, one, it's very simple and it's acidic. And then it's also it's a looser salsa. Certainly easy to eat too many chips because it's delicious. But I like to use this to make Thai peanut sauce, which I'm also going to create. I'm going to make a video for that as well. So you'll be able to check that out. So this is my favorite salsa. I highly recommend stocking up with this salsa. You can use it as a substitute for the salsa verde instead of using salsa verde. Chicken salsa verde, that's the recipe I was talking about, which you could see the video for, chicken salsa verde. But you could use salsa roja to make chicken salsa roja if you wanted to. And that salsa is super versatile, so you could add that when you want to add a little bit of tomato to chili, maybe like beef chili or vegetarian chili, just add a little bit of acidic tomato flavor. So that's two of the different tomato products besides tomato paste, to add a little bit of tomato, a little bit of acid to a dish or a stew or soup that you're making. So I love spices, bar none, and I encourage you to try them and just find them in a way that's affordable, that you don't buy a large amount of them, and that use and find recipes that continue to utilize those spices. And then, throw away your spices after like a year and a half or something like that. And certainly if you have spices from like 5 years ago, time to compost. Yeah. You can always get more cinnamon, more pumpkin pie spice. A lot of times people only use spices, like the holiday spices, once a year. But you know what's cool is you can actually have pumpkin pie more often and use your pumpkin pie spice in other dishes, like roasted cauliflower with pumpkin pie spice. Try different things. You never know. You gotta like cross the barrier of using these spices. Oh, the last two things, and everybody already knows about these things, but two of my favorite things to use that are fresh garlic and fresh ginger. So good to keep these. I actually keep the ginger in the refrigerator in a bag, and it seems to stay longer, fresh longer. And then oftentimes if I don't buy garlic, like I want to make sure that the garlic is really firm to the touch, to make sure it's fresh. If there's any give and it's soft, then it's just too old when you purchase it. But I'll buy garlic peeled at one of my local grocery stores, and it just saves me so much time. And then sometimes if I'm making a lot, like if I'm doing a lot of meal prep that weekend, then I will use a Cuisinart to mince it so I can make more dishes. And I don't pull out the Cuisinart or the food processor for a lot of small jobs like that. But if I'm doing a decent amount of cooking to get ahead on my meal planning so that I could take a weekend off of meal planning, then buying the peeled fresh garlic is awesome. Whew! Okay, that's a little bit about spices from me, and I hope you try something new. Maybe sumac or Chinese 5-spice, pumpkin pie spice in a different way with your savory foods, or maybe fennel seed. I like to add fennel seed to sausage. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching. This is Alicia from Quick and Delish. Be sure to check out my videos like the Indian spiced lentil soup. That's a vegan soup that's super easy and fast, and you can add whatever kind of animal protein you like to that, like chicken or fish or shrimp or something like that, and lots of veggies. Cool. That's it from me. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, stay cool.